From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. I am Nick Beres. It is a Monday, and I hope you had a good weekend. We've got a good show to kick off the week for you. We're going to talk about animals, your pets. It's Ask a Veterinarian. Any questions you may have regarding your pet or animals in general, that maybe a neighbor's pet or you know, something along those lines. Dogs, cats, the typical ones. Let's leave poisonous snakes and piranhas out of the picture. I don't think these guys deal with that, but well, you can try if you want. If you have a poisonous snake, actually call in. I'd love to hear from you. The number is 737-7587. I'm not sure my guest Chad Given wants to hear about the poisonous snake, but he's a veterinarian. Here for Allison Fields this morning. It's good to see you.
Good morning. Thank you.
You ever have any weird exotics come through the door?
I do. Exotics also. So,
okay,
yeah,
but
so
not
I
the
could do it.
No, ones that are illegal.
We don't do venomous snakes in the clinic. I don't think.
I don't think you can legally own a cobra, can you?
Probably not legally, but people can own anything. I mean, they can find it online and get it. So I mean, if you work like in a zoo setting, you're gonna have to handle it. And,
sure.
You know, a lot of the universities will do studies with rattlesnakes and stuff like that around here. So I mean, I've definitely worked on venomous snakes before.
Have you really?
Yeah. So
what? Just with this in a zoo setting?
Zoo setting and then university setting.
What did you do? I'm just curious. It's a curiosity to me. Is this an animal that had maybe a wound or something?
Well, like some of them, like if it passed away, do like a necropsy on it, which in that case it's limited exposure, but you still have to watch. I mean, the venom is still there, you know, and if they catch you. But yeah, if you had to work on like say a tumor or something along that line, you know, and it's one of the collection's important animals, or like I worked in North Carolina one time, one of their rattlesnake studies. One of the rattlesnakes had an abscess in its mouth. I mean, you can't avoid it because that's what we're dealing with is its mouth.
Can you knock them out with the shot anesthesia?
So there's usually with venomous snakes, you'll get a tube and you let them go in the tube, and then you can kind of like hold their body so that way they can't do anything with their face because they're still in a tube prevented. But you always let the handlers deal with them. You know, and then we'll come in after we anesthetize them and stuff.
That's just interesting to me.
But there's definitely, I mean, I've had good friends that were zoo vets that, you know, ended up getting bit at some point. So it can be pretty serious and nerve-wracking at times.
So what are the exotics you see then again today? If you call them exotics, would that be certain types of birds?
Yeah, I think that there's a scattering of exotics you can see. And I mean, I do primarily like rabbits, guinea pigs, small mammals, and then reptiles. I don't do much birds anymore. Turtles will come in. Most of the turtles that come in are going to usually be like, you know, box turtles that have been hit by a car or something like that. Yeah.
What do you do with the box?
I mean, it depends on, you know, efforts. You can, if it's not too bad, do shell repair.
Can the shell repair itself, or if it's cracked, do you literally glue it or something like that?
You can do epoxy, you know, you can do epoxy forms with kind of like some sort of stabilizing component. So the big thing is you prevent dehydration, prevent infection.
Right.
You know, I've had to put feeding tubes in box turtles before.
And these were pets?
No, not really. I mean, people bring them in.
Well, I know you've got Walden's Puddle that takes wild animals. Most veterinary clinics, even though you have got the skills for it, can't just take in every wild animal, but sometimes you'll get one that maybe someone saw on the road. You're not going to let it die.
Yeah,
that's cool that you do that.
They'll do that, but yeah, I mean, some people bring in, you know, some of the tortoises and stuff like that. You'll see every now and then. Most people that have reptiles don't tend to bring them in like they need to. Same with birds. Yeah. So I mean, it gets costly because a lot of times you do have to sedate a lot of those. But you know, it's they hide illness until they're about 80% through a disease process. So when it comes to a lot of the exotics, husbandry is big. So it's like real important for pet stores to know their information, to give the correct information, people to research the animal that they want to get, so they can provide the best, you know, just environment for it. And even then, it's still not perfect. So we still, like with our reptiles, almost all reptiles, when they're sick, unless it's traumatic, you know, is husbandry related.
Okay, well, I'll tell you,
sort of
most of our viewers probably are dealing with the more traditional pets. And again, the number is 737-7587 if you want to jump in. But that did bring up a question to me, especially for dogs. Can you tell when your dog or cat is sick or not feeling well or is in pain? I think in general, sometimes you can pick up those warning signs. But for instance, I have pugs sometimes. And I know at one point, you know, we didn't always take the pug in to have his teeth, Rocky's teeth checked. And finally, we did. At one point, we could tell there was a little swelling. And the poor guy had some cavities and abscesses in his mouth. We just felt awful about it. And yet he was still eating and functioning, and we didn't know he was in that pain, and he was walking around with it. And, you know, we had it obviously taken care of, and now we try to monitor our pets a lot closer. But I felt so awful, but I realized this dog, and maybe different dogs can handle it better, have a high threshold for pain, or they mask it, or they're exhibiting it in a way that their dumb human owner can't figure it out. And I was like, gosh, why didn't I pick up on this poor guy? You know, a tooth abscess sucks for anyone.
No, yeah,
that
for sure.
hurts. And this poor dog had several of them, and still, to this day, I feel guilty about it. He's fine now, but it was like the poor guy was walking around with an abscessed mouth.
I'm gonna give you a break.
Okay.
Pugs are extremely hard to tell their pain. Like I mean, they mask it so well, even like orthopedic injuries, unless it's a real obvious one. I mean, they seem like their pain threshold and what they mask is so much more than a lot of dogs. They always have respiratory issues, and they're just like trucking along. Their breath always stinks. So how would you know? You know, and they're always going to eat. You know, so they can be a really difficult breed to actually assess pain on. Their ears are different. Like some dogs, if they've got floppy ears or their ears are erect,
lousy,
you can tell by the positioning of their ears. You can kind of tell by their body language. Sometimes how they're supporting, you know, just their abdomen or their back. So are they eating? And this dog always eats no matter what. Well, that's something, you know. So you can pick up some animals that, I mean, I've seen like pit bulls with broken legs walk into the emergency clinic with their leg dangling, and they're just like, it's amazing. Whatever. I had a German Shepherd like that 3 weeks ago. I mean, just total shattered, you know, tibia, and it just walked in there, and it was like, hey,
not even in shock.
Not even in shock.
That's incredible.
I mean, it's just when it happens, I'm sure they're in shock, and then like once they come out of it, but it's amazing the pain threshold. I mean, you're talking about your typical surgeries, a spay, we're making an abdominal incision, we're removing the reproductive tract, and these dogs, like that day when they go home, are jumping around feeling well. I mean, it's amazing.
Right. I was just thinking about that when we had one of our dogs, and Rick's telling me about his dog. They come home. I mean, you think about a woman going through a hysterectomy or a man going through a vasectomy or something. I know different procedures, but I mean, you're out of commission for a little while. But I mean, you have these dogs. They're back up, and you always tell us to be careful. They have sutures, and you want to be gentle with them, but they want to move around that same day. Now, is that also that they have better healing properties? I mean, part of it is it's got to be sore down there, but I mean, do they heal faster?
I think it's just, I mean, it's God's amazing creature. So, I mean, it's just part of, you know, their makeup. And I mean, there definitely are dogs that are whiny. You know, and we'll juice out every little bit of it. But, I mean, that's why pain meds took forever to really catch up in veterinary medicine, is because you do these surgeries and it didn't seem like they were too painful, you know. So now we know they're painful even if they don't act like it. So we make sure we supplement it in there for sure.
That's what I think is wonderful, that it's progressed that way, because the thought to me is that maybe they just shield it, but they're feeling the pain, and that bothers me. So you want to take it and do it. Let's take a call from Lisa real quick. Lisa, good morning.
Morning, Lisa.
Good morning.
Hey, Lisa, go ahead.
I have a question. I have a pug. You were mentioning about pugs this morning. My pug, we've changed his dog food from Imes to Purina, and he's still having the vomiting issues. Didn't know if there's something that we need to do different. We've taken him to the vet, but we're still having the same problem.
So is it right after he eats or she eats, she's throwing up the food?
It's a he, and it's usually right after he eats. And you're right, they do eat a lot.
Yeah, that's.
And he eats really fast.
Yeah, a little bit he does.
Yeah. Now, does he seem? I mean, he's not losing any weight.
No, he's gaining a lot of weight.
And he poops fine.
Everything else seems okay?
Yes.
Does he have any skin issues also?
No skin issues or anything like that.
I mean, so the pugs definitely engorge very quickly, and they eat a lot, and they eat pretty fast. So, I mean, it could be that he just is so ravenous that he swallows it down. It's sitting there. He regurgitates it back up. So it sounds like what you're describing is regurgitation and not actually vomiting.
Okay.
So, you know, a lot of it is just eat too fast, maybe drink too much water. Pugs are notorious for food bloat also. They just eat and eat and eat and drink, and then they just fill up.
Yeah.
So they can do that. And it could have something to do with the food also. It could have something to do with something else, but it sounds like, you know, if you've went to the vet, they've checked things out, it can be a challenge sometimes.
What about putting smaller portions down at a time so he won't gorge himself?
Smaller portions, so if you're doing just once a day feeding, maybe going to 3 smaller meals. There are little food dishes that have obstacles in them that can slow a dog's eating down.
I've never heard of that.
So that's something you can do. Sometimes even the shape of the kibble can do it. And then some dogs, if their digestion's slow, maybe switching to canned food versus dry food. Maybe there's a reflux component to it. So those are the questions you follow up. Now, like if your vet's searching for a food trial to see if that's the case, I mean, a food trial takes 4 to 6 weeks with no treats, nothing else, just one type of food. And you might go through, I know I've really annoyed some clients just being like with diarrheas and vomitings, saying, hey, we'll find it, we just need to find the right food. And it might take 2 or 3 months, maybe 4 different foods before we find it. But a lot of times something like that can happen. You know, the obstacle in the food dish can make a difference for a lot of dogs that eat extremely fast, maybe even elevating the bowl so we don't bend over so much, so we don't regurgitate, and then trying to keep calm, you know, afterwards, so that way the food goes down and digests better.
I think you made a good point in that it sounds like it's a regurgitation as opposed to a vomiting, which could be maybe more serious. Who knows what that's all about if it's coming from the stomach in that way. Regurgitation. Pugs vacuuming it up, and they don't even care what it is. That's the problem. I just wish every once in a while I'll give him a little treat. I go, do you want to take a second and taste the darn thing? Heck no, he inhales it.
You don't even need teeth. You don't need teeth. It's like a vacuum cleaner.
That's the thing. Rocky's had a lot of his teeth pulled out. Just with age, that happens, and doesn't matter. Scarf it down. Listen, we'll take a break on that note, and Lisa, those are a couple good suggestions. Keep in touch with your vet as always, and maybe try some smaller portions. The key is, doesn't seem like it's affecting him any other way. He's still putting on weight. Everything else seems to be working.
Yeah, it sounds like it. And I mean, definitely if there's any change from what's happening or what your vet knows about, then definitely go in, because it could be something more. But
just keep an eye on it. Listen, we'll take a break. When we come back, if you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to your calls. More with our vet right after this.
Yeah, there's a degree.